Yes. I wish I could more, and I think more of us could all deconstruct our assets. Happiness, you can't guarantee it, but there is a science to satisfaction. There, you can look at habits that engineered less pain in your life, maybe more pleasure, but at least less pain. And that's a win. I try to deconstruct. Look, do I write it? Did I used to write as much? Look, at anybody who's ever kept a diary. What's the old sort of nostalgic idea of a diary? You go there when you're in pain and you share thoughts that you don't want to share with anyone else, of those reflection. And I did used to, for some reason, I don't know why, but would force myself to write every day, no matter how happy I was. And I didn't a lot of times want to go write when I was happy, because I was like, no, I don't need to write it. I don't need to become conscious of it.
I'm having too much fun. It's getting in the way.
Come on, I'm doing it. It's living, it's happening. And in writing Greenlights, when I went back, that's a lot of the consistencies that I found that I wrote when things were going well, that I was for some reason, taking time to go, can I try and bottle some science here to why things are going well? And I did find consistencies. Who I was hanging out with at night, what I was drinking, what bar I was at, what food I was drinking, how exercise, preparation for work, for school. And I found things I was like, you were really happy in this segment of your life. Let's go back and look at what you were doing. Oh, man, I had Augmentino scrolls. I was on them every day. I had some discipline where I was checking in with myself. Oh, you were going to church on Sundays. You were saying thank you, God, before you went to bed each night. You were appreciating more. You were pointing out beautiful things and not taking them for granted. Until I found a list of things. I'm like, and when I get off track, I try to remind myself, you've been slacking on some of those. And I could pull it off. I've evolved. I got different ways. I can get away with some now, but I've definitely found consistencies, and I think we all have them if we just notate them along the way, that they're not by accident. Because we sure as hell deconstruct the reasons when we're in the funk, and we don't believe they're by accident. We can take ourselves to behind the woodshed and show ourselves exactly why we're guilty for every reason, and condemn ourselves for every damn reason we got to that spot. Yeah. Well, if we're going to do that, I just say, let's cheers. Let's have a cheers on the way for all the things that will work for when we have shit going right. Also knowing that it's not forever, that we will have a mountain to climb here shortly.
Isn't it interesting? So much of content that people like to consume, books, podcasts, autobiographies, memoirs, is deconstructing the success of others. So we'll happily dissect success in other people,
right? And
yet only dissect failure in ourselves. This odd asymmetry where we bestow all of the glory on those people. Well done. And I must find out how to do it more, even if it doesn't fit me, even if they're a different constitution, different background, different time. For me, I'll focus on the negatives.
Right.
There's a really interesting stat around the likelihood of you ensuring that your dog completes a course of antibiotics is about 95%. The likelihood that you ensure that you'll complete a course of antibiotics is about 50%. So we're prepared to look after an animal twice as well as ourselves.
I wrote a note the other day, man.
What does that say on the back of your phone? The sticker?
Oh,
choose to shine. Very cool.
My daughter gave me that.
Yeah.
I wrote the other day, and then most of what I do is I use this notes app, right? And I wrote the other day, where is it? It was on that note. I was like, what's my best advice I need to give myself right now is listen to my own damn advice.
Yeah.
And it followed that up with, where is it? Yeah. Trying to live with less gravity and more backbone is a salty task.
What's that mean to you?
Kind of live lighter with less gravity, live lighter, not take certain things so seriously, but still have the principled backbone. Because as I'm getting older, we get older and the black and whites turn to gray, and then there's a great word, compromise, we all say, which is such a mature thing to do. And then all of a sudden we let things slide, and everyone start going, well, change will happen. Hey, change is inevitable. Let change happen. And I'm not ready. That's part of getting old, I think, not just getting older. Same with cynicism. It's a disease of getting too old. And I don't want to be ready to give up certain things. I'm going, no, man. The beauty of ignorance, those things that we believed in. I've gotten away with so many things because of my ignorance. I would be dead 14 times in this life if I wouldn't have been ignorant of the situation I was in. And so, yeah, not knowing or knowing what we know. It's anyway, yeah, it's more backbone to hold on and be principled to what I stand for, what I stand against, when it becomes easier and easier to just go with the flow. And I'm not ready to go, let's just go with the flow. I don't want to pick the wrong battles. I'm trying to be discerning and not picking the wrong fights, because I like picking fights and going after challenges. But I'm kind of like, man, it's tough duty to win the fair fights. And there's a lot of unfair fights out there. And why do I want to spend my time, if I got 24 hours a day, picking unfair fights when I'm going to be busting my ass to win the fair ones?
Well, also picking fights with yourself. You hinted just there at the difficulty of a negative inner voice. You take things seriously. You care about what you're doing. You want to achieve things in this world, which means that you need to have high standards. You need to posit an ideal. But as soon as you posit an ideal, you then begin to compare yourself to that ideal. Yep. And often you find yourself lacking because it's a fucking ideal.
Yep. I think it's why a lot of relationships don't work. We make her Wonder Woman and she makes us Superman, and neither one of us can live up to it. And that we've got that honeymoon bulb turned up to 100 watts, and the honeymoon's over. We're trying to deal with some real